Hey lads, some of you have been hoping and asking for me to play Will Taylor chess. He was one of the main reasons I started my channel. I was like addicted to watching all his videos back in the day. Just the way he talks about how he's thinking, it just really was exciting. It was fun to watch. And so I am super excited to play against him today. I don't think I'm going to do very well because he's definitely a better player than I am. But we'll see. Maybe I can squeeze out a victory somewhere. We're going to play 2 rapid games. So if you do want to see the other one, go over to his channel. Link will be in the description of the video. All right, let's see what we can do. All right, we will go for d4 again.
We're of course going to play c5 against this d4. A nice little Old Benoni here. He pushes past. We'll play knight to f6. Maybe c4's played, maybe knight c3, maybe you just ignore it and play knight f3. There are a bunch of things you can do here, but by far the best, I believe, or by far the most trying, I guess, is the move c4.
I think I really just hit playing against the Benoni.
There we go, we see c4. Okay, sweet. I'm going to go for the Benko Gambit, a beautiful Benko Gambit, bellissimo. All of the letter B's with as much plosive alliteration as possible. Is B plosive? B. It must be, right? Anyway, GCSE level English aside, I think this Benko Gambit is going to provide a nasty, nasty little thing for Mr. Blunderman to deal with here.
Can we put the queen here? Take, take. We might be able to. I capture here. What's he hitting me with? The bishop. I probably should just try to develop, but and putting the knight here is fine too. I think we can take here, and we still defend this pawn with the queen. I'm going to try it. It's a bit weird.
Whoa, I've barely ever seen this move. Okay, not accepting my Benko. I had a little chat with Mr. Blunderman, and he said he's not the biggest fan of these Old Benonis. I'm just going to play d6. We'll play d6, and I'm going to say, you know what? If you're not willing to accept, you're going to have to work out how to play this. Although, to be fair, he has, because knight c3, there would have been b4, so this is quite a line, as I believe it says up here. Means that you can defend this c-pawn, and I guess mainly justify e4 without getting hit with this b4 move.
I'm going to try this. Put the bishop here. Yeah, we're gonna try bishop b2, I think.
b3 here, I'm just gonna play g6. Again, if you ever accept this, I'm just gonna kind of give the next, 5 or so moves for him to potentially decide to accept the pawn here. And we'll go bishop g7, kingside castles. I mean, I'm maybe threatening some freaky tactics already.
No, we need to get our pieces out. So now he's gonna hit this one. So I think we just meet him. And maybe I have some idea of getting a pawn here somehow. It's interesting.
You'd imagine we see bishop to b2. And then an approach that I actually really enjoy is going for b4 and then basically just expanding very quickly on the queen side with a quick a5, a4. I've even had games where I then get to play a3, controlling this entire diagonal with the pawn chain. And then there's some discovery, with the knight attacking the rook perhaps. So I could go for this straight away. You know what? We're going to go for castles, I think. Maybe go for bishop f5 and prevent e4. You don't have any queen c2 to prepare that. Queen c2 early is quite an interesting move that often gets played. I'd imagine an engine would actually quite like me to play f5 here. Or rather, sorry, bishop f5. Although the problem is e4 anyway, because if I take, I lose this. Right, let's just castle first so that there are never any tactical issues with the bishop hanging on g7.
I mean, I guess I could even just come here. He takes and I take his bishop. I think against Benoni, you have to play a4 a lot of the time. Okay, he's just castled. I'm going to, am I going to play this? No, then he just takes and we don't win anything. So I think I need to fianchetto myself.
And okay, g3, almost certainly telegraphing a bishop g2. I mean, I think I will just go for this plan. Just because it's fun, honestly. Just because it's extremely imbalanced and fun. We win Connect 4 immediately, making me far more likely to win the game of chess. I mean, Connect 4, while it's a completely different game, you got to take them small wins along the way. I'll play a4. I'm absolutely just walking ahead, enjoying the expansion that I've got over here.
So he's just trying to kick my bishop. Here he wants to push. Take, and he's got the powerful diagonal. I mean, that just looks nasty, doesn't it? So I capture here. His rook can't recapture. I think I can just capture, but we can't let him win that. That would just be positional death.
Maybe I can go for a relatively quiet looking bishop d7, queen to c8, or even bishop f5, honestly. I think the engine probably, in some analysis, is going to have really wanted e4 at some point here. Sorry, not e4. What am I talking about? Bishop f5 before the move e4 was played to kind of prevent this e4 move. They take, of course, this is at least temporarily a gambit because I can't, recapture here. But this does not worry me at all. We can easily go after this and recapture it in a minute. We've got the a file semi-open. You know what? If I'm so convinced this is going to be a good move, I might as well play it. Bishop to f5, unless I want to go here and then play knight b6 and just go after this a little. And also, of course, this pawn. Right, I'll start with bishop f5. I don't know, I've been alluding to this move for many moves now. You can't immediately play e4. It might lead my opponent to play a nice little rook e1 to prepare e4. I mean, if you do, I guess... There we go. I guess maybe queen c8, and I can just go, I'm coming in here to h3. You could step back with the bishop, but then you just give me this presence here, which maybe you'd rather not do.
I did. You can already tell. I mean, I hope you guys can see why I don't like playing these structures. It's just very open and chaotic. Like my bishop's hanging. I don't quite know what I'm doing. This move, tick, tick, tick. So let's try prepare it. Let's prepare e4.
Or I put the knight here. Knight takes, bishop takes, I guess you take here, takes. Don't really love that, to be completely honest. And the reason I'd rather go to c8 than d7 is because I think this d7 square is probably where my knight belongs. Right, I'm going queen c8. I think probably I could have played this far more convincingly up until this point, but I don't know. I like my position. It's making some sense. I'm having fun. And that's what chess is all about at the end of the day. Why are we playing this board game if not to have fun? We've got our connect 4. Our connect 5, unfortunately, was not able to be established as he ruthlessly chopped off the pawn on a4. And this little adjustment, I mean, it's made it fairly clear what my plan is. Bishop h3, which won't force the exchange of bishops. As I've mentioned, bishop h1 is possible.
My king is safe. I think my pieces can get fairly active. And we are up a pawn. Okay, what's he planning here? Does he want to swap off the bishops and bring his knight here just to attack? I mean, my knight's here and I have another one defending, so I think I'm okay. So after this, I'm not too worried. Can I go a3? If he captures, we take with rook. And that helps us lift the rook into the game. Might be okay. What about here, here, and then we push here? If he takes, we're capturing here. Actually, yeah, let's go this route. Yeah, we're gonna play e5. And this sort of hits the base of his chain. I mean, it's not really the base, it's halfway through it. But we're gonna try this.
I don't know. Yeah, okay, you do see the c4. Maybe they're playing for e5. I don't know. This actually does seem like a really mature approach to the Benko now. I think I didn't press for enough because this seemed a little slow and quiet. Wow. Here, 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 here. Yeah, but then I've obviously taken your queen in that line. Right, I can start with this. You can't nab me here.
And his knight's going to come here, but I'm fine with the knight on f3. The knight on f3 is going to hold, and it will be replaced with the knight on d2.
Fantastic. We've removed the hard-squared bishop. e5 is actually quite concerning, but I don't know, knight g4? So I need to come back and take, but knight takes, bishop takes, pawn takes, and the rook takes in the end. I definitely should not have allowed this. I might actually play knight e8 and just say if you take here, I can just recapture. Okay, we're playing... I'm going to play some freaky chess, actually. I hate the idea of giving them e6. We'll see what happens. I'm playing knight e8. This looks relatively stupid. I feel like I definitely should have claimed some more advantage around probably this point, honestly. I don't know.
Very ugly game. I say that like every time. Every time I've played Will Taylor, I've said it's an ugly game. I'm feeling more comfortable. My position's opened up a bit more with some lines maybe. So capturing here, he can capture. Leaving the pawn here, maybe it's okay. If I push, he wins my bishop, so I don't want to do that. So maybe what we need to do is just defend. Do we defend our bishop? I think this is the play.
Yeah, maybe bishop f5, queen. Like, maybe I should have just been going bang, bang. Maybe bring the queen to a5, win this, try and infiltrate along the a file. This, I think, might have been more appropriate here. I've kind of just played on the king side. And despite trading the light square bishop, which, okay, is probably a good thing, that light square bishop was a primary defender of the weak light squares over here on the king side, it's not exactly like I'm doing much attacking on the king side. Oh, I guess this just defends the bishop so you can take without hanging it, right? I mean, fair enough. That does make some sense. I could take. I really don't like the idea of giving them e6. If I take, though, knight takes, and then, yeah, the knight just comes into c6 eventually if I go like knight d7. So that would, suck beyond belief. Queen here seems to just kind of sideline the queen, but who cares? We're winning the a pawn, which we initially gave up, so actually we're not winning anything, we're simply claiming back some material. But I'm hoping that the activity on the a file, especially now this rook has departed from the a file, maybe should bear some fruit.
And I think he can just come in here and maybe trade off the queens, win a pawn and trade off the queens. But I think I'm going to try get rid of this bishop. And we do have the knight here and maybe the Harry push. Maybe that's what we have to go for. So take here. He can also take with queen. Push. He's probably taking. I don't like that. I think I have to capture. And we're targeting this one. So maybe the bishops come off. Maybe he takes here. If he does, we take this pawn with our rook. He's going to recapture here. And then maybe we just put our rook on e7. Slide our queen over. Yeah, he wins this and defends. I don't know. We can also just take here. Now, this knight is a very bad piece. It's not able to come to c6 where it wants to come.
Interesting stuff. They do take. I was expecting maybe e6. I'm not necessarily expecting it, but I wouldn't have been surprised to see e6. The question is, do I take with the pawn? Or maybe with the knight? Or maybe even with the queen? There's something nice about if bishop takes here, I could play, you know, knight takes g7. And bounce out to f5 maybe, but am I really doing anything there? I could do the same with taking like this. I'm also, in so doing, putting further pressure on this backwards c4 pawn, which looks quite pleasant. Although, what am I talking about? I just hang the pawn there, which I definitely don't want to hang the c-pawn. Okay, in that case, I think I might just take like this. Keep this from ever becoming really problematic whatsoever. I mean, this could become a passed pawn in some lines. Maybe you decide to take here. Maybe the rook infiltrates, but I think immediately, at least, I get some kind of rook a7.
Okay, that seems logical. Okay, I hit this bishop, so I'm just going to capture it. Am I? Or instead, do we want our rook to lift and defend? Maybe that's what we want. Or I can even come here and take this. What about queen here? And then the rooks. Queen here, he just takes. Take, defends. Okay, let's try this.
Bishop takes. I mean, I see no reason not to take with the knight. It seems pretty fun. There's no way you play like g4 and shut me down, right? That seems like a bit of a concession. Whoa, rook a7 immediately? Or rather e7. Or Freudian slip there. Like my intentions of rook a7 being known, of course. Here, do you just come across with the queen? Because the infiltration, I mean, it looks kind of scary. Rook a7, queen here. I might be playing like an idiot. There's genuinely a very strong possibility here that I'm playing like a complete buffoon. I was trying to do something somehow exciting, but I don't know, this may have been foolish. Queen here, rook here. I mean, I guess you can't start with rook here, but you could start with bishop takes. Yeah, you know what? Let's just take the pawn.
And this pawn on b4 is going to be very powerful. Maybe that's going to be how he tries to win this one. And if he takes a4, I am swapping queens. And then I'm going to be forced to swap on g7 and play rook b2 or maybe even rook a1. Rook a1 might be better. Yeah, we're forced into this. And here, I think, is probably better.
What's the worst that can happen, you know? Giving them a effectively unrivaled rook on e7. Sounds like a terrible idea, probably is a terrible idea. We're now going to see the rooks able to be stacked, and I'm playing knight f5, so no one cares. This pawn's hanging. We're going to get a pass pawn on b4. Everyone's having a great time here. And by everyone, I mean me, and hopefully not my opponent. Although, I don't know, objectively, who's winning, I could not really tell you. But the fact that this pawn might hang, this sort of infiltration on the a-file, the fact that this then is going to be a connected passed pawn, well, not connected passed pawn, rather, sorry, but a protected passed pawn at the very least, that does fill me with a lot of joy, I believe.
My rook's very passive. Getting my rook here will be very nice. Also just jump my knight here. Like, okay, let's say he takes. We jump here. No, let's try hold this. And my knight coming here looks good. Oh, no! No! What was that? Oh, this game was good. Oh.
Let's go for knight f5. How can that be a bad move? You can't stay here with the rook. I guess rook b7 or rook c7 seem reasonable. But, you know, this place... Was this a mouse slip? What's going on here? This apparently was a mouse slip. I'll just go here. He can go back to e7 now, and then I'll go here. Okay, his move again. Presumably we see one of these two moves. Okay.
Oh no, that's too kind of him. Oh, that's too kind of him. Oh, what a legend. What an MVP. Now I feel terrible. Now I feel terrible. Oh, what a nice guy.
Evaluation, or rather the post-game analysis, is going to view that as just an absolute cardinal sin, but you know what? That's okay. Who really cares about the post-game analysis? I'm thinking that this could make some sense to play like rook b8, and the rook can get behind here again, but this time not erroneously. And I guess g4 is a threat. This is actually uncomfortable as hell. I don't know why I'm surprised. I've let this rook into b7. If I go here, there's maybe just rook a7 as well. What am I even talking about? Hold on, so my knight can't move. Fantastic, I'm glad. Let's start with, I believe, rook d8. Let's protect this, maybe create some universe in which my knight can move and bounce out and do something useful.
Okay, well, let's keep this going. I know on Lead Chess you can ask for takebacks, and that's like one nice thing about Lead Chess. But yeah, this game is we're gonna see what happens here. This is very intense. Okay, so I was gonna play the knight here, targeting. The pawn can never move forwards because we are looking at it, and this game is an intense one. Can I attack this one anymore? Yes, and the way we do that is we play knight to h4, because then that removes his knight, and maybe we can then just win here.
Okay, put a little pressure on here. Okay, I see. Fair enough. I'm going to do a little bit of this, but then g4. But then, nope, just g4 is a problem, right? Here, g4. Do I just lose? Here, you take, I take, you take, I take. No, that's a major problem, actually. So I can't go here just yet. I could go rook a6, though, which I think I'll start with just to add a little layer of protection here. Maybe g4 happens now.
Okay, so he just defends again, which I think is right by him. So I can even just play here. He can jump here, but we're going to take.
I mean, I actually despise my position. What have I done? I really just thought he'd give me the a pawn and I'd have a pass pawn here. This is complete garbage, to be completely honest. Doubling up on the complete there to just let you know how complete it really is. The knight could come in here. Yeah, this is so bad. What is wrong with me? Just move. Just keep it moving, you know. I'm way down on time.
So I want to get my knight here to this square, but it's not working yet. Where else can we come? I mean, the knight can jump here. I kind of like this move, making this piece very bad.
This is rather unfortunate, and I'm in a very defensive position, far from my finest hour. But I might get a brief second to go like this. But then, what's my intention to go here? Not really. Okay, we do. I mean, I get a second to do this. I need to move this knight at some point. And a6 didn't seem great. c6 was definitely not great.
And maybe coming here. You're gonna have to push up. And this move, we go here. And if he wants to take here, we capture and defend our knight. Although we are defending already.
Here, though, I can go like this. Maybe play f4, but then I go here. And also I've got maybe this, and okay, this seems fantastic. I feel like that was a bit of a concession. I feel like stopping me from coming into e5 so easily was, you know, at least on pains of takes, and this being a protected pass pawn, was probably a strength of the position. I can now play rook here, which I might just start with, honestly. Put a little pressure on this. Obviously, there's just permanent pressure here. I could have gone f5 actually. Did not consider that. Although the second I go f5, I'd maybe allow this. Although my knight holds. This is interesting. Although giving me knight e5 was, I'm fairly certain, not a fantastic idea.
This isn't an easy game. This is not an easy game. So if he captures here, we take, and then we win this one.
I also maybe have check. And if the king ever comes up here, I get this check and we fork the king and rook, of course. Can I start with check? Am I just getting rid of my defender of this for no reason, though? That seems plausible. No, let's go with this. I mean, maybe yes is the answer to that question, but I'm just going to go with it anyway. I think you have to step back here. You just clearly can't block. Actually, you do have rook b3. I don't know what I'm talking about. Oh no, so I'm just an idiot. I'm just a complete moron. And this... Okay, fantastic. I am so glad. I need to move, and I'm hanging d6. Let's just move. I think I may be getting flagged here. This is far from my... How did I not see rook b3? Man, I didn't need to... Okay. I also could have played knight e8 a while ago and left my pawn defended.
If he takes the pawn, we take the knight. He's running low on time again. Capture. Seems quite good, but can we not take here? If this piece moves, we grab this one. Yeah, I think we're okay. Oh, it was with check. I didn't see that.
Yep, that's an issue. That's a relatively major issue. I'll go here. might actually be getting mated here, by the way. My knight seems to be kind of trapped. Not quite mated, but like rook b8 is going to be a problem. So if takes and you just step back, I'm going to have to bring my rook back to a8, I think. I mean, just so far from my finest performance, it's unbelievable. I'm going to try and grab this. Put my knight on c3. I mean, I'm thinking that knight h6 looks pretty nasty, honestly, but how am I doing this? Knight d8, honestly? Doesn't seem terrible, and the time is clearly a major factor here. c5 is hanging, but takes, you take on c5, I take on d6, I don't see a problem. That's a problem.
Here? Oh no, here. He wants to come in here. We're going to capture here. He's going to go here.
Complete waste of a move there. Great. No, I'm glad.
Whoa, we got the win. That was a crazy game.
I did not deserve that. GG, man. And by I did not deserve that, I should clarify. I mean, I did not deserve to flag him there. Like, I was hoping that I flagged him, then felt disappointment that I hadn't, and then reconciled it with the fact that I didn't deserve to win anyway.
I mean, he gave me a free take back. I mean, I don't think that really counts. I'm pretty sure that game was extremely ugly. Let's check it real quick. All right, the review says I played with a 70.8 and Will played with a 64.4. Both of us blundered multiple times. So back here in this position, when he played his knight back, I didn't want to capture this pawn because he could take on b2. And the engine's telling me this was my best move. So what if capture? Can I just capture here? His rook's trapped. I did not consider that. And yes, he can take my rook, but here we get a queen. He has to take, and then we win the bishop back here. I'm back in this position as well. I pushed Harry, but I could have just thrown in a check here. And if he moves, oh, this is just beautiful, isn't it? Knight g5 is my top move. Bringing the other knight into the game, threatening checkmate. It's actually a forced mate in 13 moves, which is wild. I'm not going to even look at that. But yeah, this is threatening checkmate. So he has to go knight d7, blocking the rook. And then here I can just take, and then the king's moving. You will get free pieces. I just did not see this idea. Of course, we had a couple blunders, this big one. And he allowed us to take this back, which was very nice. But those were really the only two blunders that I had. And so if you do take out those two blunders, I actually played fairly solid. Like, I wasn't really losing at all in this game. There was no real other moment that I was losing that game. But lads, honestly, Will Taylor is the MVP. The other game that I played with him is on his channel. You gotta go check it because it was wild. He plays some beautiful chess. But thank you so much, Will. Thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoy. And I'll see you all very soon.